Kia ora, we are Malone Sustainable Styling and you are listening to our podcast, Warn. We have a new name, which is really exciting. We thought we've started putting these episodes up on Spotify now, and so we needed a special podcast name. And we went with Warn because we are all about sustainable styling, obviously, and a big part of that is re-wearing your clothes, choosing pre-loved when you can, and having clothes that tell stories. Yeah.
And it encompasses like what's been worn in history, what you're wearing now. Like it encompasses so many things.
On this podcast, we like to talk about all things fashion, particularly sustainable fashion, fashion history, anything that is really intriguing us in the fashion world at that point in time. Really
inspiring.
Yeah. We're based in Aotearoa, New Zealand, so you'll also hear fashion information, ideas, developments, history about this part of the world too. And we hope that you join us each few weeks as we bring you new podcasts. In this episode, we are doing part one of a two-part podcast, which is looking at rebellion and fashion.
I'm so excited about this one because it was so fun, like re-familiarizing myself with these women and also just doing women rebellion. I just love the topic. And you suggested it. It was your idea. And as soon as you said it, I was like, yes, that's a good idea. I think a lot of people will be interested in that topic.
Yeah, well, fashion is language, isn't it? It's a way that we communicate very quickly about who we are, about our place in society in so many different ways that it is a form of expression that women have used for a long time to push back against norms, against roles, against the patriarchy, preconceived notions of what it means to be female, discomfort, everything. So we're excited to get into it.
Well, when you talk about that, I mean, corsets and things, they were actually hazardous to our health. So yes.
I've heard people say that they're comfortable as well.
I don't think the corsets that were around in the 1700s would have been comfortable. I mean,
Isn't that why women have a reputation for fainting?
Yeah.
Just purely because they were corset wearers and they couldn't breathe properly?
I think there were actually, I haven't looked into this yet, but I think there were actually problems with it rearranging organs and compressing organs. So, no.
That's not funny. I don't know why I laughed. It's not funny.
Well, because it's so extreme.
I laughed because you laughed.
I laughed because it's so ridiculous and extreme.
Yeah.
That we were wearing clothing that was hazardous to our health.
Yeah. There are actually so many cases of clothes that are hazardous to women's health, though, and styles and garments and fads. That could be a whole nother podcast episode. Yeah, we always start the podcast with a check-in about our outfits and what we are wearing today. So, Sienna, you are wearing some really nice jeans. I know that is a silk blouse in like a light lime, and then a corally, gorgeous bobbled knit. How do you feel in your outfit?
I feel really good. I had to get ready very quickly this morning because my daughter was running late for school. So I just quickly threw this on, and actually I have a pair of high heels, like chartreuse high heels. And in my head, when I was putting the outfit together in my head, and because I knew I had to do it quickly and get out the door, the color of the lime shirt and the chartreuse shoes were similar in shade. I don't care if things match exactly.
Yeah.
But then when I got to the studio, because I didn't wear my high heels to drive here, I was like, oh my goodness, these are not even close to the same color.
Isn't it amazing how that happens, that you think two colors are the same, and then you put them together, you're like, oh no, literally different colors.
And I consider myself to be good with color, so I was pretty surprised.
You are good with color. You're a color analyst.
How do you feel in your outfit?
I feel really good. I'm wearing some vintage, very comfy powder blue slacks, and then my ruby light pink poofy sleeved shirt blouse with my Country Road, I think it's from. These are all thrifted linen blue waistcoat over the top. And actually, and I feel really comfortable in this outfit. I feel very happy in the silhouette and in these colours. And as always, I like to have a good balance of masculine and feminine, but it didn't occur to me until we were just about to start recording that that's actually quite fitting for some of the people that we're talking about today.
Yeah. You fit in very well.
Yeah.
With a few.
So there you go. Probably because I love their style.
Yeah.
All right.
I know, I couldn't help but thinking, actually, when I was looking at these people, not so much the lady from the 1800s, but one of the others, that what her style archetypes would be in the modern day, and how she's probably shaped some of those archetypes.
I want to kick off this episode, which is women who use style and fashion to rebel, with my current obsession, which is Pamela Anderson. I just am so intrigued by her right now. And she's not somebody that, obviously, she's a huge name and was a huge name from Baywatch and Playboy and all of that. So I knew of her very clearly, being born in the 80s. But she wasn't really someone that I paid much attention to. But now I'm just...
You've got a girl crush.
But now, I have a girl crush on Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
Because I watched her documentary that her son made. I've listened to her speak on different podcasts and things like that. And I just feel like if Marilyn Monroe had lived, we might see some similar things from her, because, and I've always loved Marilyn Monroe. So for me, it's like, she can be that person in a way.
Yeah.
Because both of them, very intelligent women who
were
underestimated and portrayed as bimbos and sexual objects. And now it's so interesting watching Pamela Anderson emerge from all these various marriages, relationships, scandals, sexual abuse into her 50s, to emerge out of all of that, just try and reclaim herself and go, actually, who am I? To see her go the opposite, not the opposite way. It's not like she was a sex symbol and now she's a old makeup free woman, but kind of, she didn't stop wearing makeup in order to make some statement, but she very quickly realized it did make a statement
and kept doing it
because she is a rebel by nature and has always, I didn't know this about her, but she's always used her position and wealth to support sustainable causes.
Yeah. She's a bit of a hippie.
Yeah, she's a bit of a hippie.
She lives on Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
Very natural lifestyle.
Yeah.
Really part of the community.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, keeps to herself as well.
Likes to work in her garden. Yeah. But then, she played Roxy in Chicago just not long ago on Broadway.
Yeah.
New films out, all of this. What a resurgence. Mm-hmm. And partly it's all come about because she just couldn't be asked sitting in a makeup chair for hours.
Was that the reason?
That was, yeah.
Right.
So I think it was, I can't remember what the event was. Paris Fashion Week, maybe? I honestly can't remember. But she essentially was like, I don't want to sit in a makeup chair for 2 hours. I want to go to the museum. Maybe I just won't get made up for this event. I'm going to have a hat, I'll be all dressed up, and I'm old. Nobody cares what I look like anymore. And so she went makeup free, and obviously that drew a lot of attention. But I love that because it must be confronting for her too.
Yeah. Especially, you're going to have photos taken of you. You're going to be under bright lights.
Yeah.
It's not like you're not going to see images of yourself.
No. Yeah. And you and I, as we age, it's hard to see yourself aging, isn't it? And I heard her say, I see myself in photos sometimes without makeup, and I cringe and I think, I want to put makeup back on, but that makes me even more go, no, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. And she was saying, I don't know where I'll go next. I might start wearing makeup again, but I just want to see where this takes me and really get used to how I look. And I'm like, good on you.
Yeah. What strikes me, though, is we are in now 2025.
Yeah.
And a woman in her late 50s not wearing makeup has caused a storm. I mean, it's kind of crazy that we think we're so advanced and we've overcome all these stereotypes and all this gender equality and stuff. Not completely overcome, but, you know, we've gotten to a better place. And then something like that makes you realize, no, we really haven't. Like where a woman feels like she really has to wear makeup to events. And then you think back to like the 90s and people thought we were very progressive in the 90s. No, we weren't. Like look back at footage in the 90s when Baywatch was a thing, and she was so pigeonholed into that sex symbol bimbo. She clearly didn't have a brain because she was so beautiful and had these breast implants. I assume they were breast implants.
Yeah, they are.
It's interesting to look back now at, you know, I'm 42 now, and I would have been like a young girl then. And to think about how people portrayed her simply because of how she looked.
Yeah. It seems like such a simple act, but it is revolutionary, or it is rebellious, and even though it seems like it shouldn't be, but I think even more so now because we're so used to seeing images of people with filters and makeup and all of that. And so to really see her just bare does feel jarring. Yeah. And that's great. She's holding up a mirror to our own, how comfortable we are with modifications and the desire to remain looking young.
It's like almost a conditioning. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So we've conditioned ourselves that everything needs to look airbrushed all the time. Yeah.
And that's the whole airbrushing thing is youth, isn't it? So she's really challenging our response to femininity, to class, to aging, all of those things by just doing this. And beyond that, it's just so nice to hear her speak about finding herself and feeling comfortable in herself. And she's such a positive role model for aging. And I don't know, maybe it's because of the time of my life that I'm at where, you know, my marriage is over and I'm on my own, and seeing her come through those relationship breakups and being happy to be her. And that's even to the extent of going, I don't need a mask anymore. Yes, I was Pamela Anderson Baywatch babe, but I'm also a woman in my late 50s, and fuck you, I'm the happiest I've ever been. And I love that. Yeah. But man, the backlash against it, not just from men, but men and women, from the outwardly horrific and just nasty comments about how she looks, right through to women saying, you could at least put on a bit of lipstick, or that kind of thing, where it's really showing how strongly that internalized misogyny runs. Right. And I've heard Pamela Anderson in interviews say that for herself, that she, like I said before, but she'll see a picture and be like, oh, I probably should just wear a bit of lipstick, and catches herself doing it to herself. Right. Yeah. Yeah. But there's a really good reel somewhere. I'll try and find it and tag it. But of the comments that men have left on her, on pictures of her, and they've found what that person looks like. She looks like an old hag or whatever, and then them, and they're like, they look awful themselves. Like, come on.
Because I haven't followed the whole Pamela Anderson thing at all, really. I've just heard she hasn't been wearing makeup, and then I saw some photos, and I was thinking, good on her. And I thought, man, she looks incredibly beautiful.
Oh, yeah, she's stunning.
That was my thought when I saw her. I thought, man. Yeah, it's really refreshing to see somebody aging that hasn't, I mean, I know she's had like surgical enhancements in other areas, but that hasn't had a facelift.
It's just challenging our own such deep-seated beliefs and ideas around beauty, because you're right, she does look so beautiful, but people are used to seeing women made up in a way to make them look younger or more defined, but there's like a softness to her right now. Yeah. And I mean, combined with her styling, because her like the short fringe and she just looks so cool. Yeah. The whole thing.
Yeah. We'll pop some photos up of her,
Yeah.
along with the other women.
Big fan of Pamela Anderson right now, and go watch the documentary made by her son, which is quite a beautiful love letter from him in a way, I think, doing that.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing woman. And somebody who right now is challenging our views on how women should act in public. Going back in time, though, to some other woman who challenged how women should act in public and how they should present themselves in public, I should say.
Yeah. So now we're going to go all the way back to the 1800s and to the first woman who really championed for women to wear pants, and that was Amelia Bloomer.
Where we get the name Bloomers, presumably.
Yes. Yep.
Is it?
Yep. That's so pantaloons, which was what they referred to them as, and then they became known as Bloomers after her. She wasn't the person who invented them, but she was the one who really pushed it forward because of her activism, and she was a suffragist.
Because pants have been worn in the East by women for a long time, like the harem pant, and that is that same kind of bloomery style, right?
So they did look, they were more open at the bottom than like a harem pant, but like a bloomer, a pantaloon. Yeah. And she was born in New York, and then she was a teacher, and she was very passionate about politics and activism. So her husband encouraged her to start writing as an outlet for her social activism. And so she started a column, and she was very...
Outspoken?
No. She was a huge influence in the women's rights movement. And she, along with some other women, really tried to change what was expected of women's clothing, and for health reasons, but also practicality. Like, women struggled to ride bikes with dresses, and she just thought it was ridiculous. And then also the health hazards of trying to ride that bike with a dress and then falling off or hurting yourself. But also corsets and things were still used by some women back then. So there was those health concerns as well. But she didn't get very far. It was considered very extreme, and women and men thought she was crazy and out of her mind for trying to change this.
For trying to promote bloomers for women. Well, we just found out recently that in France, it wasn't until 2013 where the law that women were not allowed to wear pants was revoked. So technically, it wasn't enforced, but technically in 2013, you could have been arrested or fined for wearing pants as a woman in France.
And also, it was considered cross-dressing, which was illegal. And it was considered unfeminine and unladylike to wear pants. And
God, men are so particular, right? Like, they want us to cover up, but then they don't want us to cover up so much that they can't look up our skirts.
She's famous for saying, "Let men be compelled to wear our dress for a while, and we should soon hear them advocating for change." I think
I feel like that's a familiar quote or comment that women... Like we kind of say something similar about women's health nowadays, don't we?
Absolutely.
Like, if they lived in our bodies, then things would quickly change.
Or had a period or gave birth, there'd be more advancement in these areas.
Yeah. But dresses traditionally were for men.
Yeah.
Weren't they?
And little boys.
We keep switching.
Yeah.
Although we switched, and then we have stayed that way for a really long time.
Yeah. It's actually, when you look at the history of it in Western culture, it's crazy to me how long it was considered the norm for women to not wear pants.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. A lot longer than we would think now. So she tried to champion pants for women, but it didn't take off. And that was in the 1800s.
Yeah, so it was the mid-1800s. Although this person, she was not trying to change gender norms or really push for women wearing pants. I think it's worth mentioning Paul. How do you pronounce his last name? You're better at pronouncing it.
Poiret.
His wife Denise did wear harem pants in around about 1913. So Paul, her husband, was a fashion designer, I believe in France, and he was avant-garde in his own way, because back then women were wearing bustles still.
Yeah.
And they, the little tiny waist with the big bum.
Yeah.
And then you actually had quite a wide busted area as well.
Yeah.
So you were getting that real hourglass shape. And his wife was very tall and slim for back then. And so he really liked the idea of making these like long kind of slippy dresses to suit her shape.
Yeah.
Which back then a long slim shape was not considered beautiful.
Opposite of the silhouette of the time. Quite a cartoonish silhouette of the time too, really. But he showed me one photo of him where he was wearing
wearing a long dress.
So it was, and something's going on there. Like he was really exploring the performative side of gender, I think.
Yeah.
By dressing his wife in a way that showed her beauty, but also how that felt to him, and just looking beyond that norm, like you say, of the female shape at that time to other forms of femininity and playing with that.
So he actually designed a pair of harem pants for his wife, and it was for a party. I think the theme was like Saudi Arabian Nights or something like that. So it was a themed party, but it was noted that she wore these pants, and it didn't take on. It didn't really change a lot of things, but she wore a pair of pants. It was photographed.
Yeah.
People knew about it.
Yeah.
And so
it was big news.
Yeah.
Women in pants.
Women in pants. So I think it is worth noting her and her husband for their influence on it.
Yeah. And 1913, that's 3 years before my Nana was born. It's not that long ago.
No, but it is,
it's
over
over
100 years ago, right? Yeah. If we go to the 1930s, then we have Marlene Dietrich.
Marlene Dietrich. My namesake, by the way. Well, kind of my aunt's namesake, and then I'm named after my aunt. But her style, that's who I was meaning when I was like, actually, I'm wearing slacks and a waistcoat. It's a little bit Marlene Dietrich.
I knew exactly who you were channeling.
I know.
So she actually became first big in the silent movies.
Yeah.
And she's originally from Germany.
Yeah.
And she moved to America, did silent films, got big, then became huge when she moved to Hollywood. And she was doing, what was the name of the movie? Morocco was the name of the film. And if we're going to talk about anybody changing fashion and gender norms and making androgynous fashion
and making
huge.
It look because she looks so cool doing it.
Yeah.
Like with her long cigarette extender. And it wasn't just that she was wearing those clothes. Yeah. It was the attitude she brought to them as well, right? Yeah. Like she was smoldering in that androgyneity. Also, just a side note on fashion and that style in that era, is that where the really thin eyebrows, is that the 90s thin eyebrows? Was that a resurgence from the 20s, 30s, 40s thin eyebrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I assume so.
It must be.
Yeah, because she is known for her thin eyebrows.
Yeah. The amazing arch of the eyebrows.
Yeah. One thing, this does not talk about her androgynous fashion, but how I was mentioning it was nice to see Pamela Anderson aging and that she hasn't had a facelift. So Marlene Dietrich would give herself this facelift because facelifts were very hazardous and like you could die if you were going to get one. Like, I think it was very uncommon to get one back then.
Why? What was so dangerous about it?
I think just because...
No, sorry. You said facelift. In my head, I heard facial. like, what are these?
Facial? Why is it so hazardous? No, yeah. So facelifts back then were dangerous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So a lot of people didn't get them. But so Marlene Dietrich used to use surgical tape and she'd pin her neck back in her 40s. Because, she was so old back then. And then she'd also put a necklace under her neck and kind of pull it back.
Wow.
And so she had all these tricks for tricking the camera back then. But I thought it was kind of crazy to think about.
Was it Marlene Dietrich who used to put a colour down the bridge of her nose as well? Because I think she had a bent nose like
broken
mine.
nose? Oh.
No, just like the shape of it, where it curves there, and that's not like an ideal. And I think maybe she would put silver paint like that, and then it would
Reflect.
on the black and white film create the illusion that it wasn't there.
I would not be surprised if that was her at all, because there was lots about her being really good at tricking the camera and doing certain makeup and things like the necklace and the surgical tape to make herself look younger.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think it's better to talk about her influence on androgynous fashions.
Yeah.
And she's been huge for the lesbian community and giving them a voice and having like that inspiration.
Because she was bisexual.
Yeah, she was bisexual. That's right. Yeah.
Which would have been a big thing in the 30s.
Oh, yeah. That would have been huge.
Maybe was it well known? It can't have been well known. I feel like it wouldn't have been well known.
I don't know if it was well known back then. I know there's information on it now, whether people knew about it and it was just kept under wraps.
Yeah, probably.
I don't really know, but there is a lot of evidence now that says she was bisexual.
Yeah. But she was so sexy, and because the sort of masculinity of her looks and her energy made her femininity more sexy, like that combination.
Yeah, that contrast, it's juxtaposition.
Yeah.
And they talked about that a lot in her films. So she was known for, she'd come out in this really glamorous ball gown, full-length ball gown with, her makeup all done, because she was known for quite heavy eye makeup, and then those pencil-thin eyebrows and the deep red lips, and then she'd have a fur, kind of a little bit Marilyn Monroe-esque, even though she was before, so maybe Marilyn was more Marlene.
Yeah.
And then she would have an outfit change, and then she'd come out in this tuxedo, kind of inspired suit. And they said like that play of the masculine and feminine is what she was really known for. I thought that's really cool, because you can see it influencing, like we talked about Madonna. It influenced, whether they know it or not, it really influenced Cate Blanchett's style.
Oh, yeah, massively.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of women, particularly in New Zealand that we work with, we've talked about it before, they do like to have that balance of masculine and feminine.
Yeah. When I looked at her photo, I guess I hadn't really thought about it. And when I was like refreshing my brain about her and looking at the photos, I was surprised at how early she was really wearing those suits and the pants. Because in the 1930s, that would have been very bold.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's long before pants on women became mainstream. I think we look at pictures of her and we don't see it as rebellious or avant-garde because we're used to seeing women in pants.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that was not done. It was almost just performance art on her part. We're looking at it with modern eyes, which is totally different. But so she was in the 1930s, war breaks out. I'm just thinking of the next kind of point in time where women start to wear trousers, and that was during the war when they took on men's work, right? So that was around the 50s where women started wearing trousers again.
Well, it would have been like the 40s. It would have been during World War II. I actually asked my parents about this before we started researching it, because I had some ideas about it, but I was like, I'll just ask my parents. They lived through that generation. And my dad is a total history buff. He knows everything there is to know about history. And my mom was very into fashion. So I was like, these two people
good combination.
know the answer to this question.
I understand how you came to be now. Like, history buff, fashion lover, fashion history buff.
My mom was saying, and my dad agreed totally with her answer. But my mom actually grew up in a very conservative Mexican household. So she also said, I'm not sure if this is accurate for everybody else, because my dad was very strict about us not wearing pants. But my dad was like, no, that was how it was. But so she said during World War II, women started taking up typical male roles.
Yeah.
Because the men were at war and they started working in factories.
Yeah.
started working in the war effort, and they were wearing a lot of pants.
Well, it's that whole era of the we can do it poster, right? When women started taking on those more traditionally masculine jobs.
And when we were researching the 1940s a while back, we actually, you could see it in the fashion of that time. During the 1940s, it got very practical.
Yeah. Very utilitarian,
The lines, the tailoring was impeccable, but it was much more masculine than it had ever been before.
Yeah.
And then you see a real shift. Then pants became more commonly worn around the late 60s. I mean, still, it would have been pretty bold to be wearing them in the 60s.
Yeah, if I think about my nana, I barely ever saw her in pants.
Right.
And probably, even in her old age. Whereas by the time that my mum and aunt were adults, young adults, it's still mostly dresses and things. But there were, there's pictures of them as teenagers in the 70s wearing hot pants and shorts and that kind of thing. I think it's so much later than we imagine when women actually started wearing trousers in an everyday look without people batting an eyelid.
Yeah. What I think is crazy, so the late 60s, it kind of, if you were stylish, you were bold, you wanted to push boundaries, you started wearing pants.
Yeah.
By the 70s, it was more mainstream. By the 80s, nobody ever thought about it.
No.
That's great. Like that.
Well, maybe
a very
the older
short
generation still saw it as too masculine.
Yeah, but I don't remember it ever crossing my mind.
No,
Do
neither.
I not wear pants because it's not feminine?
No, neither. And yet it really was the decade before we were born was when it started, was when it was then acceptable. It's so recent. So recent.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess we should talk about how it became as popular as it did. I mean, it was partly the war effort. And women taking on those more typical male roles.
Then they probably didn't want to take them off again after that because
there's
a lot of benefits to wearing pants over a skirt every day or a dress every day.
Amelia Bloomer would be like, I told you guys.
Yes. I've been telling you for decades.
She's turning over in her grave.
The women in the East are like, you idiots. Okay, so war effort, but it was still seen as unladylike, etc., etc. Then late 60s, what happens to help make that shift into the mainstream?
Mary Quant.
Mary Quant. Goddess.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was like swooning over all her designs last night. There was I looked up this one website and it had her designs, which are in a museum, I think in probably London or something.
I think there was a Quaint exhibition in Tamaki Makaurau a couple of years back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I have seen vintage collectors in New Zealand find Mary Quaint pieces in New Zealand.
Yeah. Well, she was everywhere.
I wonder if someone had I'm going to find this out and put it in here somewhere in the video about whether we had a license to make Mary Quaint in New Zealand or not.
Yeah.
Like we did with Pierre Cardin and Dior. I don't know. Well, I'll find out and let you know.
Yeah.
But Mary Quaint, her designs, phenomenal and seminal. Tell us about it.
So 1960s in London, there was what was called a youthquake, and that was
a youthquake.
A youthquake.
Yeah. I've heard of like the London youth movement, but I haven't heard the term youthquake.
That sounds like it's more political. This was really just celebrating youth and music and culture, and the youth finally really had this huge influence in London on dressing, and that's where you get mod. Yeah. And it was called like the Swinging London.
Yeah,
Did
the
you hear
Swinging
it?
60s.
Yeah, and that's probably where that all came from. But yeah, there was also like Swinging London. And Mary Quaint was at the forefront of that.
Yeah.
Like every design I can kind of think of that's really iconic of the 1960s. The mini skirt.
Yeah.
ribbed turtlenecks, colorful tights, the beret as a fashion statement rather than as like a revolutionary piece of clothing. What else? Hot pants, which you just mentioned.
Yeah.
PVC as rainwear.
Oh yeah, her raincoat, the swing raincoats, shift dresses. Twiggy was one of the models that we associate with Mary Queen, right? And that was all the shift dresses and even I feel like the 60s makeup was sort of inspired by her and the dancers, because she used to position her mannequins in store in quirky ways, and it would draw attention. And this is amazing to me. But her design, so she had her own shop, and within 10 days she was sold out of her merchandise. So this is a time where they're making it. It's not going offshore and being like boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes shipped back. For it to sell out in 10 days, like that designer, imagine if that happened in New Zealand. Yeah. And that's, astounding.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So cool. But there wasn't much available for that age group in London at that time. Yeah. I think from research, it's like her and one other shop that were making clothes aimed at that youth market, because previously there wasn't there wasn't fashion for that age group. It was like kids' clothes, adults' clothes. Yeah. And you just wear what the clothes are the adults wear.
And now it's so geared at young people. Like, it's just
completely switched.
And it's probably at that moment that it really shifted.
Yeah. But we've gone too
marketing.
far.
Yeah. Let's rein it back.
Yeah. So how did she play a role in pants?
Well, before her, it was almost utilitarian. It served a purpose. It was practical. She really made it fashionable.
And feminine. But did she invent the pedal pushers? That
I
silhouette?
I don't know that she invented them, but she was the one who really made it popular.
Right,
People adopted that. They were wearing it. It wasn't seen as like, oh, it's not feminine. It's not.
Yeah, it was like feminine trousers, right? Like I've got an image of her like plaid pants that are very of that era, and that was her pushing those designs out.
Yeah, and she was not credited with inventing pedal pushers. So I think
we would know if that
she did invent the miniskirt. Well. It's contested that it was her or somebody else, but she is really, again, the one who made it popular, and some people believe it was her that really invented it.
But regardless, part of her whole collections were pants that were aimed at young women. Yeah. And they started adopting them and wearing them, and then it became more mainstream.
Yeah. So the youth in the 1960s and 1970s were really rebelling, both politically and socially, and you could really see it in their fashion. And they were not just going to, humbly accept what had come before, and they were really challenging all those ideas.
They'd been given pants and they weren't going back.
But I think it was just an outward expression of what was happening politically.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Again, fashion is language, clothing is language. Yeah. London, because I hear about Mary Quant having her own store, and because she made it like a whole vibe where she'd have it would be open really late to attract that crowd. It would have music and food and drinks and everything. Like, it wasn't just a department store style shop. And the same thing happened with Vivienne Westwood. She had that too, but we're going to look at her in the next episode. But yeah, what an amazing place. And then just separated by a few decades, those two stores. Yeah. Very cool. Next week, we're going to be looking at some designers and style icons who have really embraced the ethos of punk. We're going to look at a New Zealand designer, and obviously Vivienne Westwood, Madonna, and Harry Styles. So if you are interested in that, then please come join us for part 2. What takeaway do you have from today's episode?
Well, I thought I would share a quote that Marlene Dietrich was famous for, and it kind of speaks to what we're all about, which is wear who you are. So just be yourself, be confident in yourself, and find out what you like and wear what you like. So her quote was, "I dress for myself, not for the image, not for the public, not for fashion, or not for the fashion, not for men."
I love that.
I thought that was awesome. And that just speaks to, she really challenged those gender norms, and she didn't care what other people were dressing like. She didn't care about what was considered to be appropriate. She wore what she felt comfortable.
Yeah, and she was really reinventing what the language of fashion is used for. That language doesn't have to just be about telling people what they want to hear or showing what part of society they belong to, but something about the individual and their personality. And now that idea is much more widely accepted. But again, that's just another way that she was pushing boundaries. And thank God. I'm so glad that she was herself and gave that to the world.
Yeah, you wouldn't be wearing
emulate her clothes.
You wouldn't be wearing a waistcoat and trousers.
No, thank you. Thank you to all those beautiful women who have come before us. Yeah. Isn't it a joy when somebody expresses their true self? Well, we hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. We certainly enjoyed bringing it to you, and we look forward to bringing you part 2. We'll talk to you then. In the meantime, you can check us out on Instagram, malone.styling. You can go have a look at our website, which is www.malonestyling.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can find us on Spotify. Podcast is called Worn. If you are listening to us on Spotify, you can find us on YouTube. We're all over the place, and we'll put all the links down below. Ka kite. It was lovely to talk to you.